You're listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar, the top-rated DFS tool set and #1 companion for DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo Daily Fantasy. Go LineStar Premium now at LineStarApp.com. Now, here are your hosts, fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and Chris Meaney.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and welcome to On Deck right here on the LineStar app. It's me, it's Chris Meaney, and it's you, and we hope you had a great Father's Day. It was a fun weekend of baseball. Chris, we got I got Nelson Cruz, so Dan O'Grady put it on the board again. I got the weekend home run call, right? Yes. So that was a good time. So there you go. Nelly Cruz going yard in that. And look, we're feeling good. And Chris, we're doing so good on the show here that you even called a trade the other day. And you said Edwin Encarnacion was going to get dealt soon. And my goodness, what is it, like 6 hours later, he got traded. I mean, that's some real power you've got.
Yeah, it is. I think I messaged you immediately. I was like, did we just talk about that? I'm pretty sure we just talked about that with Edwin.
We did. We absolutely did.
Must be nice to be the Yankees. I know they've went through some injuries this season, but you know they've been fine without some of their top dogs who they're going to get back this week, and then they acquire the American League leader in home runs in Edwin Encarnacion. So they're going to put him right into the middle of that order today, I would assume, against Tampa Bay. So that's a tough lineup, man. When you go through, Voit and Hicks and Sanchez and Edwin, and then you're going to get Judge and Stanton back here, and Gleyber Torres is going to be your 8 or your 9 hitter. It's a scary lineup.
It is. It absolutely is. And look, I think he's going to play a fair amount of third base. I feel like that's going to be what happens with the Andahar injury. I just feel like that's kind of coming down where you're going to see Encarnacion show up at third base, which is not the prettiest thing in the world.
No, it's been a while since I've seen that.
I would not be. It would not shock me if that happened a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to be a ton, but eventually when everyone's back, you got to squeeze in somebody somewhere. It's got, you got to figure that out.
I think Hicks may be Brett Gardner's definitely the odd man out there, but Hicks too will probably lose some at bats. But it'll be interesting to see how they go. And who knows, maybe they'll suffer another injury or something. Like, I'm not saying it's possible, but they've had some bad luck this year for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, let's take a quick fly around yesterday. So besides the trade that happened over the weekend, yesterday was a lot of bullpen wins and losses. A lot of games got decided in the bullpen, which was kind of silly. I'll take us to task right now. My boy Arrieta let us down. It was not a good start for him. 4 quality starts. The streak ended. I'm sorry. It was bad. I hear you. Also, Bauer was good enough against the Tigers, so you had that one. So if you listen to Chris, you were good. I was off of that one. Chris was on. Fultonevich was good. And the Braves put up 15 runs on the Phillies. So that is one of those things where you look at it and go, every time you're looking for the Phillies to do something, you're just never do it. You just can't get it done. We're hoping for Hoskins to get hot and stay hot and all these things. It just hasn't come together. My question to you is this Fultonevich start, is this like a little bit of a possible turning point here for him in the season?
It may be. He still walked some guys. He had 5 walks, but he managed to just get through with just 1 earned run and 6K, and that's encouraging, right? Because obviously he was allowing some home runs and some walks here and there, but he wasn't really striking a lot of guys out, and he was just giving up those bombs. So it's encouraging that he at least struck out 6, and we'll get to it today. And it was as a semi watered down Phillies lineup. I mean, no JT Realmuto in it. Jay Bruce. There's a couple other guys in there that are really struggling, like Franco, Cesar Hernandez. So, I am encouraged. It's a step in the right direction for sure, but we'll have to keep an eye on it going forward. Man, there were some runs scored yesterday for sure. I mean, who saw the Blue Jays going into Houston and putting up 12 and shutting out the Astros? And how about the series in Colorado and San Diego? We mentioned the Padres bats and how just underpriced they were despite being at Coors for the weekend. They got outscored 48-44. Every game was that was a 4-game series. Every game was like a football score. Unbelievable stuff from the Padres and from Charlie Blackmon, who had 15 hits in the series, a 4-game series, the most ever. There was 131 hits, Joe, in that 4-game series. I mean, they were setting records left, right, and center in Colorado this past weekend.
Yeah, unbelievable. And we told everybody, look, we got to take some shots and some pitchers to get that done. And some of the shots worked, some didn't. We also talked about alternatives too, like the Yankees pounded yesterday on the sponge as we thought he would, which is good. Paxton was also good in that one, so that's a positive moving forward for the Yankees. And the Twins continue to be the Twins. And Ryu now stands on the year in 90 plus innings. He's got 5 walks.
Man.
Just kind of just soak that in, everybody. 5 walks over 90 plus innings this year. I mean, that's, like I said, it's Curt Schilling's the last time I remember somebody who was quite like that.
It's unreal because like a 1.97 ERA over 82 innings last year, and if you thought that was fluke, oh, he couldn't do it, over 100 plus, and he's got 1.26 this year over 93. It really is remarkable what this guy is doing, and especially at home, which we've talked about. 51 innings, Joe, at Dodger Stadium, and he's got a .87 ERA. Opponents are hitting 186 against him. That's so filthy to even think about. 5 earned runs in 51 innings.
He's got the same amount of earned runs as he does in walks on the year.
Yeah, 2 walks. 2 walks.
It's insane. And you mentioned the Jays too. This is twice now in a week where they've put up some huge numbers. I wonder if this offense is starting to click a little bit too. You're seeing some big outputs from them. We faded Peacocks. We got that one right for sure. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of good things there that we got on Saturday and Sunday, but a couple things got to take us to task because we are an honest program. Yes. I know. DFS and honest, it's tough, but that's what we do here on the LineStar app. We keep it real, Chris, right?
Of course, yeah. I mean, we have to hold ourselves
accountable. That was a long delay before you said keep it real. I mean, I don't know if you were just kind of going, psh, psh, psh. Well, yeah. I hope that's what you were doing, and not like
I don't know if there's delay, Joe. Like an internet delay, but no, I feel you. We have to. We have to hold ourselves accountable. Absolutely. I mean, when things don't go right, we gotta step up and take it. There's no excuse. We have to. And then we move on.
Exactly.
Because, as you say, it's a new day.
It's a new day. And today is a new day. Yes, it is. And keep in mind, there's going to be some weather issues going on. So that's something to keep in mind, especially on the East Coast. There is going to be some rain in some potential spots, but that's not going to stop us. We're going to get our DFS lineups going. We're going to start with the Yankees, where Masahiro Tanaka is going to be at home. Chirinos is going to open this one. Who's going actually later today after Chirinos opens it?
It might just be Chirinos.
Chirinos is actually the guy today. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, he may just be the guy today, which, I was doing a lot of driving this weekend and I was listening to the Rays broadcast. Of course, they're playing the Angels. So that's why I was listening to it. But
I was like, that's why. Okay. Yeah. I need a reason. Why are you listening to that?
Yeah, no. For one, they were giving a lot of love to David Fletcher, who probably deserves a top 15 in the league and batting average. But they were just talking about how just so many innings out of their bullpen so far this season, and they're going to need some guys to go deep into ball games, or it's really going to catch up to them, because as we know, talking about the Rays all year, there's only like 3 guys that they roll out there, and then everybody else is openers or from the bullpen. So they're going to need some innings from Chirinos. He's given them to him lately. 14 innings in his last 2 starts, only 2 earned runs, 13 strikeouts. But overall, Joe, I don't know where the upside is with him, because only 62 strikeouts in 75 innings. It kind of caps his upside, and then he's got to go up against this powerful Yankees lineup. So he's in a tough spot.
And Tanaka's only 8K, which makes him a terrific secondary pitcher tonight.
I agree.
I mean, I know sometimes Tanaka has had home run issues in the past, but I don't think of the Rays as a giant home run hitting lineup. And tonight, it's there's a few big time pitchers that I think you want to be interested in. And Tanaka, I don't think I want Tanaka as my standalone pitcher on FanDuel, because on the FanDuel side, I'll bring up his price in a second here. But at 8K, I feel like that's a huge discount of what we normally get on DraftKings on Tanaka. And considering the Yankees offense is rolling, considering they're adding another piece of Encarnacion to the middle of this order, which is huge, I don't understand why, you wouldn't feel very strong about him as a secondary pitcher tonight. A good path to the win, good path to the quality start. He's only 9,000 on FanDuel. So, I mean, I think there's better ways for sure cash game wise, but I don't know. I mean, to me, it looks like just a no-brainer on DK as a number 2.
Yeah, I love his price tonight. And you know what? There are some pitchers, and obviously we're going to go through them, that I feel that they're just in tough spots. Like, there's some good pitchers going up against some good teams. So this is one of the better matchups. And Tanaka has been, pretty brutal lately. We'll say that. And, he's allowed at least 4 runs in each of his last 3 outings. But in 2 outings against Tampa this year, 14 innings, he's only allowed 1 earned run and 13 strikeouts, 0 walks. So that's encouraging. So he's struggled basically against a lot of other teams, but Tampa, he seems to be all right and locked in. So if you are going to get 1 or 2 Tampas, I think it would be lefties. Lefties have had their way. Maybe Ji-Man Choi in spots in tournaments, or Brendan Lau or Andy Diaz. But For me, I have no problem rolling out Tanaka at his price at 8K as a secondary pitcher on DK. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty good with some of those Yankees in the lineup too. I mean, I want to go back there. Encarnacion in that little ballpark. That's
Oh,
a
man.
very exciting possibility there. I'm all in there for sure. I'm
Should be.
give me
Yeah.
give it to me.
And
I
the
want
same
it.
guys
I
we've
want
been
it.
talking about, like Hicks and Torres on FanDuel, those are real value bats in that lineup if Hicks plays.
Yeah, again, it's the Yankee bats on FanDuel, Tanaka on DK. I think that's the way you split it up. You got Jake Arrieta facing off against Patrick Corbin, who was not good in a gimme start last week. His last start should have been an absolute slam dunk, easy, and it was not. He's 9-4 on FanDuel, so just 400 more than Tanaka, and I love the Tanaka matchup more personally. But I mean, even so, it's just I feel like I don't like the Phillies lineup for sure. I feel good about this, but I'm wondering, Chris, do you feel like this is a trap? Because Corbin on DK is 8.2. He's kind of in that same range. You go, well, Philly hasn't been good, but that last start for Corbin really kind of, I don't know, it shook me a little bit. What should have been a slam dunk wasn't. And now this is another one where he should be in control of this matchup, and I'm concerned.
Yeah, we should have concerns, and it may be a trap because of the price, but I'm interested. I actually am. The fact that Fultonevich was able to get through this Phillies lineup yesterday. If there's no Realmuto and there's no Jay Bruce, I'm gonna have some shares. Scott Kingery's is swinging a hot bat lately, but in the bottom of that order with Rodriguez and Hernandez and Kingery, I'll take a shot there with Corbin just because we've seen usually he's around the 10K mark, right? I mean, the strikeouts have still been there. You're right. He has not been good, especially in his last outing, but I will have a couple shares if this is a watered down Phillies lineup where it's just Segura, Harper, and Hoskins. And, those three are not swinging that good of a bat right now. So take some shots on Corbin. Definitely going to have some shots on Washington against Jake Arrieta, high contact guy, 83% contact rate, 38% hard hit rate, 14 bombs so far this season, 13 runs allowed in his last 3 outings. So I think you can attack lefty bats. I'm really looking at Juan Soto tonight.
Yeah, Soto for sure. I think that's a great play there. Arrieta's just eminently hittable. All right, now we got those Jays who have woken up. They got Edwin Jackson, Luis Garcia in this one. So I would imagine there's some run total here. I'm just going to put that out there, kids. Otani's at 5-1, Trout's at 5-6. So it's, really got to pay for them against Edwin Jackson. I don't usually like to do this, but I think in the DK side, you can actually go up to this and you can go down and do a Tanaka Corbin pairing and kind of just fade the Sorokas and the top guys on this board tonight, because there aren't it's not like a Sale Verlander kind of board where it's like the very elite or the Coles or the big strikeout guys are up there. And some of the top guys have, tricky matchups, I'd say at the very least. So I look at this one as if you want to dance with some big time bats tonight, it's Otani and Trout against Edwin Jackson. That's where I'm looking. And I feel like you can get away with it on DK tonight, which is rare, but you can do it just because, that's where we're at with this team right now and where we're at tonight on the slate specifically.
Yeah, I think there'll be some runs for sure. There's not even a total. Vegas doesn't know what to do with Edwin Jackson and Felix Pena going to come into this game for the Angels. It's probably going to be set pretty high, especially after seeing Toronto have their way yesterday in Houston. So I agree with you. You look at Otani and he's up at the 5K range on DK. He's still below 4 on FanDuel, 3.8. Angels are going to get Justin Upton back in their lineup today. He's 3.7 on FanDuel, and on DK, he's somebody that you can fit in. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of rust, but I mean, he's going to get pitches from Edwin Jackson tonight, which is great. So he's 3.9 on DraftKings as well. I mentioned David Fletcher on FanDuel. I think there'll be some runs. And on the other side, I think you can attack some lefty bats, maybe Tellez, Biggio, maybe some of these guys against Pena, who's really struggled against lefties so far this season. 355 WOBA, a 47% fly ball rate compared to a 26% fly ball rate from right-handed bats. So Tellez, we know, is a fly ball hitter, and you're just rostering him, hoping he can hit a bomb or two. So we'll probably see some home runs. I'll be at this game, so I hope there'll be some fireworks tonight for sure.
Yeah. There you go. Look at you live in person. I got to take myself to task here. Wait a minute. Did I have Gary? I think I had Gary Sanchez as my weekend pick. Wasn't Cruz. So my bad. Dan O'Grady erased it from the board. Who did you pick? Right? Because didn't I go Gary Sanchez?
I think I went. Yeah, I think you did. I
went Gary
maybe
Sanchez.
You went Nelson Cruz the week before. I think
that was my last weekend pick. That's right. Yeah. Yes, with Hoskins. So we failed.
Yeah, we did fail, but we'll get it right.
Right.
We should have just picked somebody in Colorado and in San Diego. We were joking about that. How it's a layup. I know.
I
Well,
think we
Hunter
basically said
Renfroe had like
everyone's going
100
yard
home
in
runs.
Colorado.
Yeah, you're right. And
Yeah, we
everyone
said everyone's going
basically
yard in
did.
Colorado. That's too easy. Let's
Doesn't
pick a
even count.
non-Colorado game, and
Yeah.
that's fine. We didn't hit it, but look, we did say
That's fair.
everybody in Colorado, so I think that's fair. All right, now you got Wade Miley taking on Luis Castillo, the first of the bigger pitchers on the board. He is 10K on FanDuel. On DraftKings, if you're going to play with Castillo, he's also, guess what, 10K. So either way here, I think this is actually a pretty decent one. You take the DH out of this lineup, it's good. I think better for Castillo against the Astros. That's always a positive there. The bottom of this order still not exciting. We're still waiting on Altuve, who looks like he's close this week. They say maybe by the weekend you get him back. He's on rehab assignment, so that's a positive there. Senzel, I mean, looking at this, like, how do you want to attack this? Because you can go with Senzel and Suarez potentially. They're both kind of in that mid. I mean, Senzel's 4.6. I mean, that's very expensive on DK. I think that's a tougher one for me.
Too excited. I don't want to go there at all.
On FanDuel, it's 3.4 for Suarez, 3.5 for Senzel. I'm trying to find the righties towards the top of the order, and then of course Puig at 3. Who I can't do it anymore with Puig. We've tried. We've been hit and miss. Yeah. We've picked some spots, but I can't do it. It's not consistent enough. But Suarez and Senzel, possibly on the FanDuel side, you could take a shot on. What do you think about Castillo as your standalone pitcher tonight at 10K?
You know what? I thought you'd pump his tires a little bit more. And I know you like his home road splits, and you've been dead on with that. Before the season started, you were like, listen, this guy's better at home than he is on the road. A 1.87 ERA at home. So, I mean, he's going to likely get this Astros lineup without Yordan Alvarez, who
that's another one.
4 homers in his first 5 games, like setting records, that guy. So maybe he doesn't get in the lineup. And then, I mean, you look at this lineup all of a sudden with not him and the top dogs that, Houston's been without for the past couple weeks. I can get behind a Castillo play in a tournament. Like, I feel like people will shy away because he's 10K and it's the Astros. They just got shut out yesterday against Trent Thornton. So let's keep that in mind. Castillo is a much better pitcher. Right? It is a little bit. Yeah. So I think you could take some shots maybe on Suarez. I know he's really, really struggling, but he's got a good track record against lefties. Puig is starting to show some signs, some runs in back-to-back games, but he's been pretty frustrating. It's hard to spend 4K on him. Really, Miley he doesn't strike a lot of guys.
I didn't actually notice that Puig went back to back because Saturday I was in dance recitals for 4 hours between my 2 daughters, and then Sunday was Father's Day, so I missed some of the little tiny things. So I don't know. I didn't realize Puig went back to back in 2 days. So
but he's still been striking guys or striking out, and
I mean, if 3K on FanDuel, if you want to go Senzel, Suarez, Puig, and leave Votto out of it, I got no issue with that.
Yeah,
that's not a bad little spot there, especially you're going to need some relief there. And if you're in on Castillo, you might as well be in on the Reds. Definitely. And then you got Soroka over there as standalone on FanDuel at 10-2, which I love tonight. I know he's going against Weaver, but at home, this Braves line has been tearing it up. Acuna's been red hot. He went yard again. I mean, Acuna's hit that patch again. Like, I feel like he did this last year too, where he hit a patch where he was just unconscious and it lasted a month and change. And that's, I feel like, where he's at right now. And he's one of the best players on the planet right now. He's at 4.8 over on DK. On the FanDuel side, he's just 4K, which I think is a bargain considering how hot he's been right now. And look, Zack Wheeler is a good pitcher. I'm not taking anything away from Wheeler. He's had some good moments, has strikeout potential, but Soroka's really proven that he is a premium guy this year, and I think we have to stand up and take account for that.
Yeah, I think honestly I'd rather Castillo. I think just because there's more strikeout upside, but Soroka is one that I think maybe people will gloss over. He's just coming off his worst outing of his career, and he's expensive. So I think people could shy away, but this Braves lineup is just, oh man, Joe, it's just so filthy. 15 spot last night. They've scored at least 5 runs in 8 straight games. Like, Josh Donaldson has homers in 3 straight games. Like, if he starts to get anywhere near, like, just a 70% clip of his seasons in Toronto, I mean, this Braves team is just going to roll through this division. And they really are. But so I would continue to attack their bats. Like, Acuna, like you mentioned, Josh Donaldson, why not? Over on the FanDuel side, I think you'd be silly not to take a shot in this $3,000 price. Nick Markakis, like, get some of the lefty bats in there against Wheeler, who's struggled against lefties, and
even Albies too, on the lefty side too at 3.6.
Albies as well.
I mean, the Albies Acuna Freeman is a you're kind of going from the bottom up, which I kind of like that grouping. But yeah, and okay, let's bring it up because you have to. Does Wheeler have contrarian love tonight because we're all just
Yeah,
to
he
be
might.
simple
Yeah,
and going Soroka.
yeah, for sure. If you
It's
are
$1,000
playing,
difference on FanDuel and in terms of like, and actually on DK too, because Soroka's 10.5, Wheeler's 9.2 on DK. So, Wheeler kind of has to enter into that contrarian because he has been good enough sometimes.
yeah, and he has the upside for sure. I mean, he wouldn't surprise me if he had a few strikeouts and did okay against Atlanta. Although I'm pumping the Braves tires here a little bit, but he is the ultimate contrarian play. Like if you're a multiplayer tournament, like if you're going in lineups, you're going contests with more than 3 lineups, you probably should, take some contrarian shots here tonight because, like we said, there's some good pitchers up against some tough teams. So I think there's an opportunity maybe to get some guys with low ownership, and Wheeler is probably one of those guys.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Okay, let's go over Mike Clevenger back. So this is
Welcome
exciting.
back.
Less exciting is the fact that he's in Texas. So
Mhm.
Lance Lynn. So you got Clevenger at 8.7 his first start back. And over on FanDuel, he is 9.8. So you're gonna pay a lot more. I wish there was a little bit more of a incentive, but this is another one of these guys who's gonna have secondary love tonight, I think, on DK because of the price at 8.7. However, it is in Texas. It is a first start back. I mean, do we really think he's going to go 6 innings his first start? I mean, is that really what
No,
happens
I don't
nowadays? I
think
mean, I
so.
don't feel like it is. So
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
going to
think
just
so.
take a hard pass here. I'm tempted, but I'm going to take a hard pass.
You get tempted because his first 2 outings of the season, 12 scoreless innings, and he struck out 22. It's like that's
Yeah.
the kind of upside he has. Like but he in his last rehab start, I mean, he only had 2. His last one, he went 5-1, all scoreless, struck out 5, looked good, but he only had 67 pitches. Like 51 were
Right.
strikes. It seems like he's all over. Like he's on it.
Oh, I think he's right. It's
But
a matter of how
yeah,
right can he be for how long, and is it a good enough play where it makes sense for the cost?
I don't
At
think so.
8.7 as a secondary arm on DK, on FanDuel, absolutely not as a standalone. That's
No.
madness at 9.8. And even if he comes out, he goes 7 innings and drops 10K, great, good for him. But
Yeah.
I'm not getting involved in that. And offensively too, this is another struggle I have because I'm not a huge fan, obviously, we all know this, of the Cleveland lineup. It is in Texas. I like it more. Lance Lynn certainly is another one of these guys where some nights he comes out there and he looks good, and some nights he's an absolute gas can. So it's kind of tough to gauge. On the Texas side, I don't like throwing him against Clevenger. I think you'll get bullpen eventually, but I don't know, man. I feel like this whole game for me is just a hard pass, and I don't want to because there's lots of things I like about. Like I like being involved in offense in Texas. I like Clevenger being back and maybe get a discount, but I don't know, man. I look at the board. I'm struggling with it. What's your take on it, Chris?
Yeah, it's Lance Lynn is just too expensive for me to roll out there. Like I don't want to touch him at 9.5. So he's a bit of a pass for me. And yeah, you're right. I mean, the bats are expensive. Francisco Lindor is 5.2. It's tough to roll him out, and Santana 4.9. Like those are the 2 guys I'd want. I still, every time I look at Cleveland, I look at Texas, I still end up taking shots on Ramirez and Odor. And I know obviously it hasn't worked out a lot this year, but I take those prices 3.7. Ramirez heading into Texas, maybe that'll be good for him. And for Odor, who hit a home run over the weekend, hitting the cleanup spot on Sunday, maybe he's starting to put things together a little bit. I like his price a lot more on FanDuel. Like those are the 2 guys, Joe, I think that I would just have exposure to in tournaments. Odor at 3K, Ramirez at 3.1. Take my shots there in tournaments and have some respect for these pitchers, but not wanting to play them because I just feel like Clevenger, to your point, like if he strikes out 7 or 8, he's really only going to go 5 innings then because he's going to have
got to
the pitch
go
count is
right,
going to
and
be
he's got to strike out 7 or 8 to bring back value. And then when he goes to the 5, then when you hand it over to the bullpen, it's all a big crapshoot. You're not the chance of him getting the quality start at least, I think, is tough. And I would kind of gauge that. Like, can you give me strikeouts? Can you give me quality start? Can you go certain deep into the end? And that's kind of my gauge. And or like we took the shot at Eduardo Rodriguez on the weekend because, well, we said, can you get me the potential W? Right. And he did.
Yeah,
so
he did.
Eduardo did exactly what we said he was going to do. Can you strike out enough guys, get the W, beat Baltimore, and you did. That's everything else. Any walks or runs or whatever, and that was actually minimal too. But he was a great play, and that's exactly the strategy, I think, when you're looking for those secondary guys. Jose Barrios, 10.3 at home against the Red Sox. Now, this is a fun one because Barrios would be normally a guy we'd be all over. However, it is against the Red Sox. That's kind of tricky, but they're at home. At 9.6, I think they're tempting you on FanDuel with him to be your standalone guy, and I think it is very tempting. Porcello, I think, is eminently beatable.
Definitely.
I have a lot of respect for the Red Sox lineup for sure, as everybody should. However, the Twins are just rolling, and I think they're going to hit Porcello. I think they're going to get Rios a win here, and I think the fact that he's not double digits makes Rios very palatable tonight.
So he's another guy, again, like Sirocco and Barrios and Castillo and Wheeler. Like these are all solid pitchers in tough spots, right? So you have to just figure which is you're going to try to split hairs. I guess we have to look at things like wins. Like, is there a potential for a win here tonight? There is for Sirocco. There is for Barrios. Because like you said, Porcello, I mean, he checks in with an 84% contact rate, a career high 44% fly ball rate. He's allowed 12 bombs, 77 since the start of 2017. And now he's got to face arguably the best lineup in baseball, who just leads the league in home runs. So
Right.
A tough spot for him for sure. And going to take some shots with lefties like Rosario. Marwin Gonzalez is one of the better values on both sites. He's swinging a much better bat lately, moving up in the order. And I have no issue with Barrios as a tournament play as well on both sites. I think there's a little bit more value, as you mentioned, on the FanDuel side. He drops down to the 9.6 range. So he's cheaper than Clevenger. So I think we realize that Clevenger is the trap and Barrios is the play.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's, you don't want to look, Mike Clevenger. I feel almost guilty. I feel like
I think he's going to be good tonight too, and I just don't think he's going to go the distance. Like again, he's one of those guys. Again, if you're playing,
he's going to be good. I don't think that's the
entry.
question. I don't think the question if he's going to be good. I think the question is he going to be good enough? Yeah. That's the issue.
And at that price, I don't think he will.
And at that price, it's difficult. I think I understand the tournament loving it. Do not do it in cash games. I think that's a bad idea. Eliezer Hernandez taking on Miles Mikolas. There should be some offense here. Howard Ramirez went yard yesterday, so I know you got to keep that one on the board. 2.7. That's it, just 2.7. He's a nice lineup builder tonight. We like to find those guys on FanDuel. 100%. And you know what? We'll go back to some of these guys here. I mean, there's some love there for the Marlins every now and then. But Mikolas has been trash. I mean, I was never a big fan. I thought last year was, complete nonsense. And Goldschmidt went yard yesterday too. So looking at him too, he's just 3.9 over on DK.
3.5 in terms of FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a huge price break on Goldschmidt, and I think Goldschmidt is doing, he's locked in right now. So for me, I think that's a huge discount. I'm going to take Goldschmidt. So there's some one-offs in here: Goldschmidt, Harold Ramirez, some lineup builders. I would expect some offense. Are you stacking any of these guys? I kind of like just the one-offs personally.
I like the one-offs too. Yeah, I think you said it, amazingly when you talked about Miami, like Ramirez, maybe Curtis Granderson. I'm not stacking them, but yeah, Mikolas just got lit up in his last start against this team. So if you're just looking for that standalone value, that one cheap guy that will allow you to do some other things, I think it's Ramirez and Curtis Granderson. Goldschmidt is like the Manny Machado effect right now. It's like he's too good for his price. Like you take shots and then you're starting to see some better swings from both of these guys. So I would just take one or two guys and take the value and move on.
All right, you got the A's at home. Mike Fiers against Andrew Kashner. All right, let's do this. Chris Davis, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Marcus Semien. Go right in the board, right in 1 through 4. Boom, do it. And look, they're 4. And they went from the range on DK from 4 all the way. Matt Olson is 4.8 on DK. I can't believe it. I haven't seen a price like that next to Olson in quite some time. Finally. But look, I think you go all the way there with them on FanDuel. It's much more user friendly. Obviously, 3.6 for Davis, 3.4 for Olson, 3.8 for Chapman. So Chapman's the most expensive one, and then Semien at 3.4. Look, it's chalk. I don't care. LineStar app likes it too. Everything likes it. Give me that stack. Now the question is, do you like Fiers tonight at 7.6 just to come away with a W? I kind of do.
Yes, I kind of do. I'm so glad you and I are always on the same page. I thought there was a slight chance.
I'm not excited. I'm not happy with myself.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm doing it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my write-up this morning on TQE, call me crazy, but I'm interested in clearly for the W. I'm glad we're on the same page here. I mean, you go through the numbers with Fiers. We all know 15 home runs, 7 over a 6-game home streak, but he's actually been pretty decent. He's allowed four fewer hits in 5 of his past 7 starts, 3 or fewer runs in 9 straight outings. 9 straight outings. He has an ERA at 3.6 at home. It's almost 6 on the road. Obviously, we know the advantage of pitching in Oakland, especially for a fly ball pitcher like Mike Fiers. And the fact that these A's are going up against Andrew Kashner, that's a bonus right there. We've got a 5.5 team implied total for Oakland and a 3.6 team implied total for Baltimore. So if Fiers can just go 6 innings, continue the 3 or fewer, get the run support. He's going to get you a win. And at 7-6 on DK, I think that's on FanDuel 7-6, 7-7. Perfect. I mean, 7-7 on DK. I can definitely get behind that as a little bit of a cash saver as your secondary arm, and just, hey, get me the win and I'll move on here. I think it's a good spot for him.
I do too. And I'll tell you what, the other thing that Fires allows you to do is to get involved with those Angels guys too. Yes. And I think I want to get involved with Trout tonight and Ohtani. And I think that's almost a must on DK, where you're looking, okay, who's a guy that's like 7K that can get me a W tonight and has a decent matchup and everything there, and it's going to allow me to get to some of these bigger salaries, and that's one of them. I mean, I could stack the A's and put some Angels in there too, and just kind of go all AL West tonight on somebody, and I think you'll do pretty well. Tyler Beede is getting into Maeda. This should be a lock for Maeda. This is an easy cash game play. He's 9K. I got no problem with this one. I think it's safe.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, I don't know how many strikeouts you're going to get in this one from Maeda. He's 8-6 on FanDuel. I don't love Maeda as a standalone on FanDuel at 8-6.
I don't either.
As a tournament, even as a tournament play, I don't like it that much personally. I can't get there.
No, I'd rather do it in cash, like you said, maybe a double up, but it's so tough. Like, it really caps your upside if this is your only pitcher on FanDuel. Maybe if you're playing the late slate, but again, I'd rather actually take a shot on Fires, to be honest.
No, I would
cash,
too.
And then
Give
load
me
up
Fires
on some
the
bats.
Offense.
Yeah, for sure. Load up on some bats, but a 1.69 ERA at home. I mean, that's what you're getting with Maeda. So that's what you said. He's safe, and he had 5 shutout innings against the Giants earlier this year in San Fran, where he has struggled on the road. So you can get by as a cash game option on DK for sure.
All right, Danny Duffy taking on Tommy Malone, 2 lefties here. I want to point out on FanDuel, Jorge Soler is just 3K. I like him against Malone, the lefty here. I think that's a really good another lineup builder. You throw him in there, it helps you. Whit Merrifield's just 3-6 in this one too, if you want to go double dip there. And now that Encarnacion is out with the Mariners, I just this is not a lineup. You got no Haniger, you got no Encarnacion. Domingo Santana's just floating around there. I know Kyle Seager's been, back, but I don't like him against lefties ever, so that's not a good one. So to me, it's a hard pass on the entire Mariners squad, but I'll take the one-offs with Soler and Merrifield for Kansas City tonight.
Would you think about Duffy? Maybe not tonight, but like going forward, attacking the Mariners lineup when they're lefties on the hill, maybe the way to go. I mean, they have the 5th highest strikeout against lefties.
If tonight is a weird, like I said, there's no big time, really big. I mean, Castillo's on there, Rios, but like we're not talking about the Coles and the Verlanders and the Scherzers. Yeah. So if you got a little weird with Duffy tonight and Fires, and then just went complete, we're talking the Trouts, we're talking the Ohtanis, we're talking all the guys in Oakland, we're talking, there's kind of be one or two of the other big bats. You can probably get Goldschmidt in
Minnesota
there too.
Guys, yeah.
Yeah, Minnesota guy. If you want to load up on the big time offenses tonight, these are 2 nights where this is a night where those kind of pitchers, and let me see, on DK, Duffy is what? Duffy is 7.5. So I think you could do that tonight. And that's not normally a thing I would say, but I think those guys will be good enough. But I think the offense is going to be the separator on DraftKings. Not a FanDuel thing. Again, I don't think this is what you want to do there.
Yeah.
But if you're going to double up and try just go say, hey, offense is going to carry me, and these guys can basically get 85% of what I think the top pitchers on the board can, because I don't have a lot of faith in Corbin tonight. I don't think Tanaka's going to have a mind-blowing 10 strikeout performance. That doesn't happen.
No, I know. There's some guys that are just in tough spots. So maybe tonight's not the night with Duffy, but I don't hate a share or two in a tournament spot on DK, only because there's going to be a lot of lefties moving forward in this lineup in Seattle. I mean, I mentioned the top 5 strikeout against left-handed pitching. You got Smith in there. Vogelbach,
you got
can't
Smith,
hit lefties.
Vogelbach,
Seager, D. Gordon. Yeah, I mean, definitely.
I think it's a night for Duffy. I'm fine with this.
Yeah,
or I'm fine if you're playing multi-entry, you have Fires and then you switch them out for Duffy in another one too. If you want to just diversify a little bit, if you're doing multi-entry kind of thing, that's fine, because it's the same grid. You just switch those 2 guys out,
All right.
and back
I like
and forth.
it. I tossed it up. You made me feel good about it. I like it.
No, I
think we got to pick on the Seattle lineup moving forward. Definitely.
I agree.
Right? No Haniger in the lineup tonight either. So he's obviously.
It's amazing where we started with Seattle and where we are now in mid-June.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I was with my my uncle and aunt this weekend, and they're both from Seattle. They have season tickets, and they were just like, they were so bummed. I think I had this conversation with you before. Like, they just sold everyone, obviously, like Paxton and Diaz made some trades, and I told them originally, I was like, Diaz or when you got Edwin and Bruce, like those guys are out next too. Like, they're just gonna be shipping them out, and they were so excited with the start. And it was like, oh, maybe the season isn't going to be as bad. And now it's just like, okay, it is going to be this bad. The pitching is awful, and they're really just selling. Like, that's obviously Dipoto likes to, make his deals, but
Well, like
Don't know.
they actually got some guys in the pipeline for the first time in a while too. So I mean, if they're going to sell, I mean, I think they could have gotten more for Encarnacion personally, but
Yeah, me
what do
too.
I know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the weirdest thing about Dipoto is he makes some trades you go wow, and then some other ones you go really. I just
Yeah. Just gave him
very
away,
weird.
I felt like. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, he could have waited another couple weeks. What's the difference? Somebody would have paid. Chassin against Lucchese is the last game on the slate today. Lucchese is 8.6. He's at home. He's 8.1 on FanDuel. What are your thoughts on this one, Chris? I mean, normally, that Brewers lineup's one we run away from when it's in Milwaukee. Now that it's in San Diego, are you running, or you think, you know what, this Brewers lineup is formidable enough where I'm going to pass on Lucchese, even though it's a lefty? And look, you do have, it's more lefty. I won't say lefty heavy, but the bats you like most, the Yelich's and the Moustakas, are all left-handed in this lineup. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna fade away from it actually. I got some respect for Lucchese, not enough to play him against Milwaukee, but the fact that Milwaukee, I wasn't overly impressed with their series in San Fran. Like I didn't feel like they were scoring a lot of runs, generating some. I mean, they lost 5-3 on the opener. They scored some runs on Saturday, but they still lost that game against the Giants. And then yesterday they got 5. Like not spectacular. I have more interest actually in these Padres. All of a sudden they get away from Coors Field and their prices drop down again. Like Tatis Jr. is 3.8 on FanDuel. Manny Machado's 3.5 on FanDuel. Hunter Renfroe just had a wicked series. I know it was at Coors, but he's 3.2. And Chassin, who's coming off the IL. This is somebody who has struggled so far this season. He's allowed 57 hits in 58 innings. He's allowed 37
And
runs.
why the
and
hell
11
is Fran
bombs.
Reyes just? Why is
I
Fran
don't get
Reyes
it.
just
Yeah,
2.9 on FanDuel?
disrespect.
What
Yeah,
is that about?
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
think this is one of that sneaker. Again, we talked about Soler. Here's another one. Franmil Reyes 2.9. I mean, if that's not a lineup builder, I don't know what is. You got power upside there against Chassin. He's at home. I think it's a decent one. So, what are you looking at betting wise for the day, Chris?
All right. So betting wise for the day, I am going to pick on the Phillies. I'm going to pick Washington at home. I like the Angels on the road. I like the over in that ball game as well between the Angels and the Blue Jays. I think the under in Cincinnati and Houston. Wade Miley, he's not a fantasy guy, but he doesn't allow a lot of runs. He really doesn't. I'm going to give some respect to Castillo as well. I like the Braves to continue to roll. The under in Cleveland and Texas. Some tough matchups here tonight on the board for sure from a betting standpoint. If you're just going to go a 3-game parlay, probably my favorite ones would be the Angels on the road, Oakland at home against Baltimore, and then the Dodgers at home against the Giants. So those are some pretty heavy favorites, but you lay enough juice, you'll be all right.
All right, that brings us to our favorite time in the show, the time where we call our shot to go yard. I will go first tonight, and I'm going to go wherever Edwin Jackson lives. And that's where I like to go. And he's living in Toronto, and so is Shohei Ohtani. So I'll give me the lefty, Shohei Ohtani, showing out, going yard tonight in Toronto. Lock it up in front of Chris Meaney's own eyes as he gets to watch his boy. There you go. You get to watch your boy tonight in the stands and enjoy a Shohei Ohtani home run. I hope you catch it. I don't know if you're sitting in the outfield, but I hope you're out there for when he gets up. You need to go out there.
I do,
like
and you know what?
You need to kind of get up and run out to to right field area.
I'm gonna double down with the Angels, man. I'm gonna join you, and I'm gonna go Mike Trout. I went last year early to BP, and Ohtani was hitting him off the hotel roof. If anybody's ever been hotel windows, if anybody's ever been to the Rogers Center, that's a big bomb. So hopefully you are right there. There's 2 ways to look at home runs tonight, guys. That Angels game and then that Oakland game. Those are the home runs. If you're in one of those home run pools, you got to attack those games.
Yeah, 100% there. That's exactly right. So we're going to do that. We're going to attack those. And also, just as a bonus, it's probably a good lock that Matt Olson's going to go yard tonight, too, against Andrew.
That's where I was going to go other way. Olson or Trout.
Just
two
solid options. Say,
like,
probably Chris Davis, too. But Matt Olson, there's your extra credit. Like, if Matt Olson doesn't go yard tonight, I'd be shocked. I really would. I just, but I'm sticking with Ohtani as my lock one. Olson is the secondary if you need another one, too. So that'll do it for me and Chris. We'll be back again, as always, tomorrow, talking more DFS, recapping what happened the day before, and making you smile and have some fun, because baseball and fantasy sports is supposed to be fun. Follow us on Twitter at Joe Pisapia 17, at LineStar App, and at Chris Meaney. And make sure you check out the Fantasy Football Black Book 2019 edition out on Amazon and iTunes right now. You can get it for paperback, Kindle, or on your iTunes device. Nothing better than that. So football is right around the corner. Football is coming. I hope you're ready. Go take the black. So that'll do it for us. That's right. There's only one thing left to do, and that's step out of the on-deck circle and into the batter's box and go yard. We'll see you next time, kids.
You've been listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar. Hit subscribe, tell a friend, and stay tuned for the next episode from fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and Chris Meaney.